Can you beat Persona 5 Royal using only Pixie? Well, I certainly hope so, otherwise this little experiment was a complete waste of my time. If I had to sum up Persona 5 Royal in a single sentence, you're a convict. To sum up the rules of the run, it's actually quite simple. Joker can only use Pixie, that's the only one he can use. But the others are allowed to use their own personas as well because it's not a Joker only run. And number 2, the game will be played on normal. I originally thought about putting it on merciless, just for the crap of course, but decided against having a brain aneurysm. I'm going to assume that you are familiar with the story and the world of Persona yourself, having played the game. If not, why haven't you? It's amazing, go play it right now. Don't watch the video, go play Persona 5 Royal, because it's the best one. With that out of the way, let's head into the first palace. The Castle of Kamoshida. My accent probably butchered that, but oh well. Of course, the first couple of times, it's nothing but tutorials and introductions to the gang, which can be tedious as fuck when you're playing it for the 5th fucking time. But the good news is, in the original game, you would have to attack with Arsene in the very first battle. But you don't have to do that in Royal. You can use melee from the start, so I haven't completely null-invited the run straight from the beginning. Being late to school, I decided honesty was the best policy, so when I introduced myself to the class, I decided to tell them the truth with my chest out. My ability to use Google was tested, and after some dicking around, we made it to the castle again. The second time in the castle is pretty much the same story as the first one. A lot of tutorials. But the game makes me use fucking Arsene for one of the tutorials, which pisses me off because Pixie is weak to guns, so I should have been able to use guns to knock her down.
Damn it! This is bullshit!
Carrying on, Ryuji climaxes. And we begin our first real fight. It's a pretty simple fight. All I have to do is target the main guy and ignore the lackeys, because the fight ends when he's defeated. The next day, while Kamoshida is beating Mishima with his balls, I interrogate someone who looks like a walking punching bag, and he tells me to fuck off. So that's a no-go. To add to the drama that is this sitcom, one girl is sick of Kamoshida's shit and jumps. I immediately spring into action.
Everyone present right now will be expelled. I'm reporting all of you at the next board meeting.
That could have gone better. Well, looks like we're doing this the old-fashioned way. We're going to beat the bad out of him so he's a completely different person. In great news, I finally managed to get my persona for the run. The bad news is, it completely proves my point about Arsene earlier, because Pixie gets knocked down by guns this time. Why didn't they just let me use guns the first time? God damn it. The stats are... well, they're shit. But, to quote a wise man, there are no weak personas. Only weak persona users. Or something like that. Every time I get poked or flicked with a finger, I lose nearly half my health. This should be fun. Especially later on, when the palaces are harder. On peaks. And joins the gang for the next boss fight. Which also means fuck all, because he's weak to her moves, so I can spam all out attacks on him. Which is good news for yours truly, because I do fuck all damage to him, and the damage I take, let's just say, isn't stellar. Of course, after the battle, Kamoshida runs like a little bitch that he is. With my crew finally assembled, it was finally time to deal with Kamoshida once and for all, after a trip to the library. It's very important to study, using weaknesses and baton passes. This allows me to delve deeper into the palace while conserving energy. Recruiting masks, while ultimately will do me no good in battle, will come in handy later on. At first it seemed luck was on my side, but he immediately decided to recover from the shock, and one shot on for good. And then, through me making mistakes, I end up getting shocked in my attempt to be clever, and I lose Morgana as well. Things are going great. But my real concern throughout all of this is not the fact that I'm losing my comrades very easily. It's the fact that no one has decided to hit me yet. If that's what they do to them, what are they gonna do to me? Because I can't do anything right, I misclick and have Morgana attack probably the worst boss I could probably have him attack, who then proceeds to punish me by immediately one-shotting him. The real concern, however, is the fact that I'm running out of SP, which pretty much means I'll have to go home and lose a day. Good news is, there's an obvious solution. All I have to do is collect the will seeds, which means I have to fight Muck from Pokemon. Going into the fight, I was actually very worried that he would fuck me up. But everything went my way. Either he perved on and did nothing, or he got shocked and allowed me to spam all out attacks. With all the will seeds recovered, I recovered quite a bit of SP, but I still needed to play my cards right. I couldn't just charge in, so I conclude the only logical thing to do here is to spam the hide technique to get around the palace, which allows me to progress the palace without using up all the SP I have. The good news is, I've played this game so many times, I know exactly which enemy has the eyes that we need to progress the level. The bad news, I'm a complete idiot. So on my way to finish the castle in a rush, I get caught not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4 times. Wave after wave after wave, I continue to just limp my way to the treasure. But hey, I made it to the treasure in one day. Even if I did have to limp there, I made it. Finally, it was time for the final confrontation. Him versus me. Pixie versus that thing? Knowing how that cup fucking works, I don't even bother to use any personas for this phase and just save the SP. When we get to the kill shot phase, considering the damage I do, the only logical option is to take out the feckin' rabbit. But I completely fuck it, and he kills my teammates, and leaves me for dead. Good thing I brought revives, I suppose. I send the cat to steal the crown. Unfortunately, he does way too much damage to me, and knocks me down way too much, so I can never do enough damage to keep him distracted, so the cat always gets caught. So then we go back to basics, and we beat the crap out of him. Tediously, but we do it.
I've lost.
Nailed it.